Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your NBA rundown of games for Friday, the 2nd of January. IC's back from Hilton Head, so we got him in his familiar surroundings. Probably means he's just going to pick better winners here. Let's hope. We're going to run down all 10 games for the NBA today. Before we get so, don't forget, it's football time still. We've got a couple bowl games here on Friday. We both have one bowl game up left in our pass. IC has also 4 NFL between on the weekend here, Saturday or Sunday. I have 3 NFL. So a total between the two of us, if my math is right, 5 and 4 equals 9. You get 9 plays for just $99. 2-for-1 football pass, DocSports.com/Craig Arun. It's the only way to get that is at this link. Also, if you want in our basketball plays or NHL, you can get the single plays for $30, single days, or a week pass for $99 and use the 15% off New Year 1-5. So make sure you get in on that. Top plays tonight in hoops or NHL. Let's go with the NBA, though. How about that? We start off early. San Antonio at Indiana. San Antonio is favored by 6, total of 237. What do you like in this one?
Craig, the last time these two teams met each other was 136-98, and Indiana is just a horrible team. Okay, they're 6-27. They're obviously tanking with the Halliburton situation. They're not going to win anyway. That's what Carlisle decided. We're not going to win anyway. Let's just get a great draft pick, and that's exactly what they're doing. But San Antonio played the Knicks and got their revenge from the NBA Cup, which we figured they were coming off back-to-back losses to the Cavs and the Jazz. They had yet to lose 3 in a row all year, and that continued. That was one of my leans in our last video that we did. And, of course, having a 41-30 fourth quarter made the difference. Indiana, of course, comes off of a loss to the Orlando Magic, 112-110 at home. But that was a game where they played really hard, and they deserved to probably win that game. But they've covered back-to-back games. Now, do they get up to play the San Antonio Spurs? Of course. Of course they're going to get up to play Wemby here. Wemby comes in here. He's listed as day-to-day, and it's listed as undisclosed and in this contest. But Wemby obviously came through for this team. Last contest, he went 10 for 12 against the Spurs, which is a great effort, 31 points. And Champagne went 36, and Fox went 28, and Johnson went for 19 points. I like the Pacers here. I know it sounds crazy, but I think Wemby will probably play. But I think the Pacers, it's that theory. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And if this team can play really well against the Houston Rockets, right? They were able to lose by about 7 as a 24.5-point dog on the road. They were able to lose by just 2 points to the Orlando Magic. That was a contest. If you look a little closer, you'll see that Indiana's playing a lot of guys now, right? Siakam, 26. You had Mathurin with 23. You had Nembhard with 19. Then you have Neesmith and Potter and Shepard and Walker all scoring at least 9 points or 8 points. And then you have McConnell, who could have scored easily 9 himself. So I think when you put it all together, man, I think I like the Indiana Pacers plus the 6. I know it sounds a little crazy. It's a great public fade as well. Give me the Pacers plus the 6. All right, Craig, you have the Brooklyn Nets here coming in as a 1-point favorite on the road against the Washington Wizards. The Nets beat them 129-106 last time. The Nets are an interesting team, right? They're coming off back-to-back ugly losses to Golden State and to Houston. Washington, of course, comes off a huge win against the Bucks on the road. And they've also beat Memphis and Toronto in 3 of their last 4 games. Who do you like here?
Yeah, Brooklyn lost to Houston yesterday. And then now they face a Washington team and have to travel and face a Washington team that's rested, coming off a nice win against the Bucks. So, I think it spells trouble for Brooklyn. I didn't think we'd ever see a spot in the season, that we would see both of these teams that were 5-5 straight up in their last 10 games. Because the way they were playing early in the season, I'm guessing these guys were going to be win 2 of 8, 2 and 8 every 10 games. But that's just not been the case. And they've both been playing a little better. I'm going to take Washington here plus the 1. I see some -1s out there. I think Washington wins and covers as the rested team here. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on all the great content we have here at Doc Sports. Next game, Atlanta Hawks at the New York Knicks. New York Knicks -8, total 245.5. The Hawks have won just 2 of their last 10 games, and they face the number 2 team in the East right now, 23-10 overall, the New York Knicks. Who do you like here?
Yeah, look, my Hawks I think they're going to get better. We both talked about how that, when Trey goes out, the Hawks are going to get better. That's exactly what happened, right? Atlanta went ahead and played Minnesota in a situation where, Trey did not play. And guess what happened, Craig? The Hawks won. Trey did not play against the Oklahoma City Thunder too, and the Hawks covered. The Hawks are up on the Thunder at the half, I think. So the Hawks play phenomenally well without Trey. And this team is now basically Okongwu's and Daniels' team. right? When you take a look at this contest between Okongwu, Johnson, Risa Shea, Alexander Walker, which they picked up in the offseason, Daniels, Kennard, Porzingis came back. Newell is a great kid from Georgia. The Hawks absolutely dominated Minnesota and won by 24 points. It was never really close. Okay. So take that in mind, and the fact that the Hawks just lost to these Knicks 128 to 125. But that was a contest in which Trey did play, right? And he scored 9 points, and then he had to go out. I think the Hawks get up for this game. I think the Hawks do really well. I know the Knicks were off of a loss, but I don't think it's going to matter. I'm going to take the Hawks plus the 8 here. All right, Craig, getting back to this game that you're going to share with us, you have your Cleveland Cavaliers here. They're hosting the Denver Nuggets as a huge chalk 13.5. Obviously, Denver is without Jokic. That's why the line is the way that it is. The Cavs coming into this game, you're going to be without Merrill and Hunter are listed both as day-to-day in this contest. So what do you like here? Do you think Denver – I told you Denver's going to win that first game without Jokic, and they did. They won outright. Now they don't have Jokic, and they got to face the Cavs. And the Cavs come off a big win against the Suns, and now they're a massive dog here. And they've also lost another man in Valanciunas. Who do you like here? Cavs favored by 13.5 on a total of 236.5.
Well, if you followed us for the last 5 months, short term, when you lose a star, you can get up and play. And we saw that last game against Denver. I'm glad they had a day off, a day off to kind of like take that in and be like, okay, we gotta get back up again, because it takes a lot to win without your star. I think they do it again. Jamal Murray is playing like Jamal Murray did before knee injury, where he was top 5 guard in the league. And if he's had 50 already once this year, it was against Indiana. I think he has enough tonight to keep it within the number. And the Cavs have been extremely banged up and just 6-14 against the spread at home. I know they did win last time and cover at home, but I think Denver will keep it within 8 to 9 points and get us the cover in this one. Next game, Orlando Magic at the Chicago Bulls. Orlando Magic favored by 5, total of 235.5. Talking about a banged up team, Orlando seems to be the mash unit where it seems like everybody just continues to get hurt. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, I mean, you got Howard and Isaac and, both Wagners that are out, right, coming into this game. Chicago coming in having, Kobe is out, Colby White, and Miller's listed as day-to-day as well. Flowers is out as well. But I'll tell you this, Orlando did win against Indiana, and they did beat Denver recently, but Orlando's really struggled to put together back-to-back wins, which is why they're kind of around 18 and 15. But they had enough scoring, right, between Bitstill and coming off the bench and Kane coming through. And then you have Black and Suggs and Bonchero. So they have enough talent here to get it done. They played each other recently on December 1st, about a month ago, and Orlando won by about 5 points. Okay, they also played each other in October, and the Bulls got the better of them there. Bulls come off a nice win against New Orleans. They had lost back-to-back games against the Bucks in Minnesota. The Bulls are an interesting team. They had, won a whole bunch of games at the beginning, lost a whole bunch of games, got it back together, started playing well again, winning 5 in a row, then lost to Milwaukee and Minnesota, and then turned around and beat New Orleans. This line sits at around -5. I think what happens here is I don't trust Chicago coming off a nice win against the Pelicans, to be honest with you. They have a tendency to struggle against strong defensive teams like Minnesota and Milwaukee, right? And then you have an Orlando team that comes off a nice win in their last contest, but they're a little banged up coming in as well. So I'm going to take look, this can go either way, but I'm going to take Orlando here just because I believe the Bulls struggle against strong defensive teams, and I think it makes sense here to take the Orlando Magic -5. I am aware that the Magic come off of a 5-point win on December 1st. I'm aware that the Bulls could get revenge, but I just don't trust these Bulls coming off of a win here. All right, and I like teams with revenge typically, but not in this situation. All right, Craig, you have the Portland Trailblazers -1 favorite on the road against these New Orleans Pelicans. Look, New Orleans beat them 143 to 120 back on December 11th. Portland comes off an ugly loss to Oklahoma City, 95 to 124, after beating the Celtics and the Mavericks at home. The Pelicans coming off, they had won 5 in a row, and then boom, they faced the Cavs, the Suns, the Knicks, and the Bulls, and lost all 5 and all 5 covers. The Pelicans returning to Pelican ways. Who do you like here on a total of 243.5? Basically a pick'em game.
Yeah. I always like if you can draw a line through just one game and you see the form before that, it's really good. And if you do that, you have to think Portland would be a way bigger favorite here. It's like, dude, losing against Oklahoma City, especially bad. A lot of teams are going to do that this year and already have done that. That's the situation here. I'm taking Portland here. New Orleans, it's just, once again, like you said, they do it in stretches, and you see this, and you start to get excited. I'm sure the fans do as well. And then all of a sudden, it's like boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, 5 straight losses and all those wins for nothing. All right, so we're taking the Blazers. All that being said, we're taking the Blazers minus the 1 point. Next game, Hornets at the Bucks. Bucks favored by 6, total 233.5. Of course, Giannis is back. So the records, I throw the records out the window if Giannis wasn't there. That's what we should do. What do you like in this matchup?
Bucks won 123 to 113 back on December the 29th, right? Just a few days ago. When you take a look at that game, Charlotte didn't actually play that bad in that game. They just, they were actually up around 3 points at the half. And then the Bucks did what Bucks do with Giannis and won by 9 points in the end. So but I want to point this out. Turner had 23 in that game. Giannis had 24, and Porter with 15, and Portis had 25. Do I think Bobby Portis is going to have 25 points again? No. And if you take a closer look at that game, you'll notice that, you had Miller and Ball, who played exceptionally well. Diabate played really well, too. And you had Green and Sexton coming off the bench there. People forget that team has Sexton coming off the bench. But the problem for Charlotte is that Milwaukee lost to Washington 113 to 114 at home, and they were 10.5-point favorites coming in. So they're going to be upset coming in. But regardless if they're upset or not, Craig, I don't care. I'm going to take the Hornets here because I like the fact that Charlotte had Golden State on the ropes in their last game. They were up by about 2 points going into the fourth quarter before they fell apart. But that was a contest where I thought they played really well. They shot 52% from the field. You had Knuppel, Sexton, Miller, Ball, James, Solon, Green, and Hall played really well. Sexton was coming off the bench. Then they made him as a starter. He's coming off an injury. I think him playing major minutes once again is going to make a difference. The last time these two teams played each other, Sexton was coming off the bench. He only played 19 minutes that game. He's going to get 35 minutes this game. That's going to make a difference. Give me Charlotte plus the 6. Craig, the Sacramento Kings, who was my lean today. Remember, I had the Kings as my lean in their contest against the Celtics because I said they were coming off of a bad loss. They hung in most of the way before they fell short against the Celtics in the last quarter. Now the Kings turn around after that 14-point loss, but they hung in the whole way except for that fourth quarter. That's what bad teams do. They fold in the fourth quarter. As an athlete, I was a former semi-pro. I'm still a semi-pro tennis player. You being a former college basketball player, you know how it is. When it gets tight in that fourth quarter, you start moving a little bit slower because you start getting a little bit more nervous, whereas the real champions come through because they don't think in the fourth quarter. Sacramento Kings here, plus 11.5-point dog against the Phoenix Suns. You had the Phoenix Suns winning 112 to 100 last time by 12 points. And they also beat them by 4 points the time before. They beat them 2 times this year. Sacramento, back-to-back losses, back-to-back missed covers. Phoenix coming off a loss against Cleveland where they got blown out. Okay, they lost by 16 as a 6.5-point dog. More was expected of them, and they didn't come through. But they had beaten the Lakers and the Pelicans twice and the Washington before that too. What do you think here? You like the Kings plus the 12, or you like the Suns? You can take the Kings with the double revenge, or you can take the Suns off of a loss. Who do you like?
Kings have double revenge against everybody. It never helps. I mean, they never win. I watched the entire game because I had the team total Celtics over, and it hit with 2 possessions to go. So like that one. But I watched the entire game. The Sacramento just doesn't play hard. One guy plays hard, Russell Westbrook, because we know what he is. I mean, the guy's he's all go all the time. Rest of these guys,
he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, these guys just don't put in the effort. And in a back-to-back against a Phoenix that's really frustrated after – like you said, never was in that Cleveland game. I think Phoenix bounces back, and I think they win and win big. Minus 12. No problem. Suns minus 12. 2 games left here. We've got the Thunder at the Warriors. Thunder favored by 9, total of 228.5. The Warriors are just 2 games above 500, but we've seen some glimpses where this team, shows that, with 3 Hall of Famers on that team. It's like that's dangerous, but is it like just too much against a Thunder team that's like 15 deep? I mean, it's like they bring guys off the high school teams and they still play for them, it feels like. What do you like here?
I read a crazy story that said that if the Warriors had never traded Jordan Poole, that this situation would be so much different with Draymond, because he was supposed to be the replacement for Klay Thompson, right? But they let Poole go, and that was the mistake. So now
they didn't have a choice because Draymond hit him in the mouth.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you really,
yeah, there was like you either had to trade Draymond or Poole, and they weren't trading Draymond.
See, Draymond, Draymond chased Durant away. Draymond chased Poole away. And now they're not going to let Draymond chase Kerr away. They're going to see you, dude. I mean, we're done with you. Okay, so they're looking for a landing spot for Draymond. And honestly, the Hawks might not be a bad idea. You can send Trey over there, and you can bring Draymond kind of as
No
an
way they
enforcer.
trade him
Dennis
here.
Rodman.
Curry's already said he's like the only way they could probably trade him is if you got and it's not going to happen, LeBron or Durant, which he's not being. If you got a guy like that, then Curry would probably sign on it. No way Curry's signing on to trade him.
Yeah, the reason why Curry likes Dre is Dre protects him.
Okay, and he's an unbelievable passer, so it's like gets him a lot of easy baskets.
Yeah, so that's the reason. But at the end of the day, he also cost him a championship as well. He also probably helped him win a championship too. I don't know.
Got him 4 championships. He probably did cost him 1.
Yeah,
but there's not many 4 champions.
Yeah, running Kevin Durant out of town, that probably cost him like 2 or 3.
I don't know if that was going to matter because it was become economics where they couldn't you couldn't just keep paying all these. It's the same as the Celtics. You get above that apron, and it's like every dollar you spend costs you $4. So when you pay a guy $30 million, it costs you $120 million over. That's crazy.
I think the NBA has it right with this system, by the way.
Oh yeah, because you have to break them up eventually.
Baseball, you're going to have to do something else similar. But as it relates to this here, you have an Oklahoma City team that won 124-112 last time. They also beat them 126-102. Oklahoma City comes off a rout against Portland, beating my Hawks and the Sixers. They're 29-5. Golden State comes off a nice win against Charlotte in a game they were probably looking ahead of this game, but they did manage to win and they did manage to cover. They beat Brooklyn as well. But you're right. Golden State has shown glimpses, right? Steph, 26 points last game. Podziemski, 19. Draymond still starting, 10 points. Butler there too, 19 points. Jimmy Butler has sort of become – we don't talk about Jimmy Butler ever, do we? He just quietly continues to play, just quietly continues to chill. He's meshed in pretty well. They had Santos with 13. Horford comes off the bench there, Gary Payton. So, yeah, they certainly have the talent to hang tough here. But having said that, the last time these two teams met, I'm not going to take a side. Last time these two teams met, went over the 223. The public obviously likes the over once again here. I think this game goes under. I think what will happen here is that Oklahoma City will lock down a little bit on defense here. And because the last time these two teams met, it was 124-112. It was a contest where Oklahoma City shot 58% from the field. Golden State shot 45%. I don't see either of that happening here. I also like the fact that Golden State gave up 125 points in their last game. They're going to do much better here. Last time Golden State gave up 141 to Toronto. The next game against the Nets, they gave up 107. So I think they'll play much better, or 136 against Portland, and the next game they give up 99 against the Suns. Give me the under, Craig, 228.5. All right, Memphis +4 dog against the LA Lakers. Memphis 15-18, 3 games under 500. The opposite of my Hawks, they've learned to play with Ja Morant. Ja Morant has sort of figured things out there. I think he's about 27 years old. I need to go back and check, which is wild that he's that old now. But the Lakers winning 117-112. I like how we talk about players like as if we continue to get younger or something, So, as we continue to get older ourselves. The Lakers come off a 117-112 over this team last time around. Memphis, of course, lost back-to-back games to Philadelphia and Washington. That's why this line is as low as it is, by the way. The Lakers, of course, coming off a bad loss to Pistons by 22. Injury status-wise, you have Hachimura and Reeves who are still out, which goes to show how important Reeves has been. Memphis, of course, continues to play without Edey, and Caldwell Pope is listed as day-to-day. Craig, who do you like on the +6?
I thought Lakers maybe could catch Detroit because that was Detroit, there's that long road trip they were on. And I was like, they might – the Lakers, I watched the entire game. They were fine through the third quarter. And then they just quit playing defense. And when you're a coach and you call up, then they tried to go to a zone. It wouldn't even give effort in the zone. They have 2 guys, Luka and LeBron, that play no defense, no effort, unless it's like, these primetime games. And then they don't do it in back-to-back positions. I'm telling you, you have to fade the Lakers so Austin Reeves gets back. He's the one guy on this team that puts on ridiculous effort. And I don't know if LeBron's trying to get traded or if he's just like, hey, I got too pretty of a face to get injured, because he's just not putting it in there like he should. To me, you take Memphis here. Memphis is playing better. I know they have a little blip those last 2 games, but it wasn't because of effort. They were right there in those games. It's just sometimes, shots don't go. It's not the greatest shooting team for Memphis. So give me Memphis here. prime time. I think they'll get up for it. Memphis +4. I think they might even win outright. So that's what we have for today. Don't forget, if you want to get on our top plays, you can get the 15% off promo code New Year 15. This won't work with this 2-for-1 offer because it's already 50% off. You get the football pass, which we have between the two of us, we have like 9 plays up still, including 1 or 2 bowl games here on Friday. So make sure you get on that DocSports.com/Craig Arun, and we'll see you again tomorrow.